Welcome to the podcast Manifesting Big Money Fast. My name is Jeanine. I am so excited that you found this podcast or that you're tuning in to another episode. This podcast is all about manifestation, big money, energetics, spirituality, how it's all connected, and most importantly, how you can increase your bank account right now. So let's dive in today's episode. Hello, beautiful souls, beautiful money lovers, to another episode of your all-time favorite podcast, Manifesting Big Money Fast. In this episode, I want to answer the question why this podcast is actually about money. Why not about anything else, or manifestation, manifesting things fast in general? Why money? I deeply, deeply believe that. Let me start like this. First of all, I've been always fascinated with money. I've been always fascinating with receiving things fast, doing things fast, accomplishing things fast. And not from a lack mentality, just from a joy mentality. It's just something till today I loved as a child. If you would ask all my family members, they would say, yep, that's true. It's simply who I am. And obviously it took me some time to realize that. Not to doubt this, and obviously for me it's clearly visible also in my birth chart. So if you haven't booked an individual channeling session, these are the things we will be talking about, because it's so important in the first step to own who you are, to know who you are, what you're bringing to the table, what your talents are, what your gifts are, like how to create a business around that based on your strengths, gifts. And also to understand, okay, wow, actually those one-fits-all marketing sales strategies, they don't work for me. Maybe you've even invested already a lot of money in like strategy things, trying to fit in a box, trying to fit in a freaking niche to realize, it's not me. Yes, because we're not made for this. The human being is an individual being. We're so unique. Trying to fit in a box is the worst we can do for our own creativity. And trying to fit in a box is actually also the worst we can do for our financials. Because all of a sudden you become comparable. Because if everything is the same, we can compare. And when people start comparing, they're already in lack. And when they're in lack, most of the time people compare the price. And that's when you're part of this community of like, oh, let me be the cheapest. Who wants that? Like, I don't want you to book anything with me, from me, shop at our store and say, I'm like, oh, I'm shopping because it's so cheap. Oh, it's the cheapest here. That's why I'm booking. That's why I'm shopping. It's for sure not my intention. So this is definitely one thing to contemplate and reflect on that. Where are you still trying to fit in a box? Where are you still trying to do it like everyone else? Where are you still trying to implement those strategies because someone told you this is a way to do, this is a bullshit. Like if I'm reflecting, the most money I've made always in the highest freaking highs, and even today, is when I'm just being myself, fuck business strategy, fuck niche, just talk about my things, do social media and everything like I do. I'm making currently multiple six figures every freaking month without being on Facebook or Instagram. With the podcast, which is currently still a private podcast. Yes, there were times differently. But don't forget, I would say 90% of my community left when I switched, when I switched from German to English and I started only teaching in English. I saw a huge gap. Did that scare me? Yes, of course, but it's okay. So I also had to start from the beginning. The only difference between you and me, when I started my business again, basically last year in September, completely in English, completely from scratch, is that I had the knowledge from the multi-millions I've made before. That is the only difference. And from that knowledge truly came, hey, I've tried so many things, they all didn't work for me. I've truly can say, looking back, I've wasted so much money. And this is something I truly want to bring some attention to, because so often when you guys don't know what to do, what the next step is, how to grow your business, how to receive more clients, how to receive more money, the one thing you guys always do, and that's okay because we've been programmed like this, is to look for external help. You know, like in school, if you don't know what to do, you ask the teacher. As a kid, when you don't know what to do, you ask your parents. It's like always, you don't know something, you always go there and ask someone else. However, especially being a business owner, this doesn't work. It doesn't work. Because you will become someone that's like, oh, I didn't know this is a way to do it. No one has ever told me. You give me, again, your own personal power away to other people and what they've shared with you or not. First of all, I deeply, deeply believe, and this is so true, especially for all my 2 lines in human design, but in general, obviously, for everyone, we are having all the answers inside. And before booking anything, first you should always do a check-in, like internally. Do I have the answer? Yes, no, what am I receiving from my soul, from my inner being, my inner wisdom, however you want to call it. And if that wisdom tells you, I don't know, check a YouTube channel on Instagram ads, it's a different guidance than you believing, oh, my business is not growing fast enough, I think I should do Instagram ads. This is never the path. Because now the energy you're bringing to the table when doing Instagram is like, help me with something I don't know. And this is the input. So what's the output? Exactly. Receiving help and they don't know what to do. So those are like the energetics, the intention, and you should pay attention to it because this is what manifests. But this is the invisible work. You guys only see the external work I do, and that's very little. And I'm sharing here with you so clearly where it's coming from, what I'm following. But you guys don't see all the internal work I'm doing because it's invisible. But this is, for me, where the big money is. It's in your authenticity. It's following your inner guidance. It's following your soul. It's being on your own freaking individual path and not on the path of someone else. And obviously, those paths can cross. But not forever. And not all the time. Because otherwise you're coming at a point in your business where I'm like, oh, I'm just booking and booking and booking training, seminars, doing all those things. And you're starting to believe that only external people, external validation has answers for you. That's no good. That's why I'm always telling you, the first step is always, and this is one book that has been with me for such a long time, by Jorge Bouquet, 3 Questions. And he says, this book, the 3 questions of life are, who am I, where am I going, and with whom? And the question of who are you, who am I, is something that has to be answered first. But most people don't do it. And this was so interesting to see, like, I think about like 1.5, 2 years ago, I feel like, mid-end COVID, the coaching scene was booming like crazy. People were joining without understanding what it means to be a coach. They just saw the big money, the prices, how much money was made in that industry. So a lot of black sheeps joined. And it's so interesting to see how many people already left that occupation because the industry became harder, and the people that are truly dedicated to this work, they stayed. It's very interesting to see. And I'm 100% sure this will happen this year to cryptocurrency coaches. It's going to be booming this year. Next year, when it's going down again, the people are moving. So there's always people, I would label them, they are off their own path. And they just follow the path of money. Like, which industry right now is profitable? Okay, let me go there. Of course, it's one way to live. It's just not very authentic, and it's not your sole purpose, because we're all here with individual gifts, with individual talents. We're all here to express our own authenticity. This is where frequencies are super high. This is where frequencies are super fast. This is how to manifest anything and everything you desire fast. So the first step always in order to be on that frequency is to know who you are. And that's why those individual sessions I'm offering are so freaking powerful. This is why people are saying over and over again, these are life-changing. Because I'm not telling you something I want you to know or what the best strategy is or what I believe. I'm just looking at your chart, what you're bringing to the table, like why you're here, why you choose this life. And I'm channeling about your biggest moneymaker gifts. And there's something that always happens when people speak their truth, we can feel truth. There is a deep connection in our heart. It's a frequency that hits us straight in our heart. When someone speaks truth, we feel it. That's why politicians especially have such a huge authenticity problem, because they don't speak the truth. I feel like they don't even know what truth is. They don't even believe their own words. And that's why it's very difficult for them to create authenticity, because authenticity is created through truth. So in your business, that ultimately means in order for you to speak your truth, you have to know what your freaking truth is. And this should be, before you do any external thing, you should be able to answer this to me right now, super fast, super clear, straight to the point, no long story. Like, this is what I'm bringing to the table. These are my skills. These are my gifts. This is how I've built a business around. This is how I'm serving in my gifts and my talents. And the moment we can do this, money flows like crazy. Because again, people don't hear our words. They feel the frequency behind the words. And they feel if that's true or not. If it's true or not. This is a secret to manifesting big money fast. Again, it's different than you thought. Again, it's freaking inner work. Again, it's coming from you have to know who you are. You have to be able to clearly communicate this. And every time you try to fit in a box, you try to do it like someone else, every time you steal freaking content from me without giving credit, people feel that you're just being a copycat. And this is, you see, like how in life also, I mean, it's one way obviously of living, it's polarity, but you're not here to be a copycat, you're not here to receive little money. Can you see how there's always an original and then there's a cheap copy? And no one pays for a freaking cheap copy. I just saw this the other day in Mexico. They had some Louis Vuitton bags, fake ones. And the original one is about $5,000 and the copy was like $50. It's huge, the gap. But no one's willing to pay a lot of money for a freaking copy, no matter how good the copy is. And that's true for you as well. So stop copying my content. You can quote my content and you give credits. This is a way to do it. And I think this is also something when it comes to authenticity that's truly lacking in this society. We always feel like everything has to come from us. But I always can tell you I'm inspired by so many things. On my YouTube channel there is, for instance, an Abraham Hicks playlist with my favorite, conversations by them. Giving full credit to someone that has influenced me on my journey a lot. Telling you this book I told you by Roche Bouquet, Tres Preguntas, 3 questions. Amazing. Like, I will always tell you my sources, my inspiration. I'm not scared. I don't believe that you would see me less valuable. It's a human. I'm receiving answers most of the time through channeling, less and less through other coaches. I'm almost in no coachings anymore. My last coaching's ending in March. And also I feel right now I'm really complete on external coaches. So I'm not investing anymore in traditional coaching, how I've done it. And this is all okay. So contemplate. Are you leaving money on the table, or are you truly expressing yourself? Do you even know who you are? And if not, I deeply believe it's time to find it out right now. Thank you so much for listening to the podcast Manifesting Big Money Fast. I've got 3 very important announcements for you. First, if you like what you're listening, make sure you leave some gratitude, leave a review, share the podcast. Second, if you love what you're listening to and you want more of that, there is a VIP version available. That means you will have access to 3 podcast episodes every single week. Simply check out the store, courses.richandhappiness.com, or the link in the show notes. And lastly, there are always monthly money activations happening around the new moon and full moon. If that is something you're interested, check out the store for the next money activation. I love you, and I can't wait to see your beautiful face soon again.